beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about a new cheek palette from NARS Cosmetics. This is the Orgasm on the Beach cheek palette. It is currently available. NARS sent this one over to me in PR to review for you, but you can find it on the NARS website. It's also on the Sephora site. I'll look around online to see what other retailers are carrying this. If I can find it at any other retailers online, I will link those down in the description box for you in case there's somewhere that's more convenient for you to shop. This palette is priced at $59 US. There are 6 shades in here. I want to give you a little bit of a price breakdown. $59 is a lot of money to spend on a makeup product, but in all of my NARS cheek palette videos, I always bring this up, but I just want to break down the numbers for you a little bit. There are 6 shades in here and each powder is 3 grams, so there's 18 total grams of powder in this palette. So $59 for 18 grams comes out to just about $3.28 per gram. When you take a look at their permanent blush line, those are priced at $30 a piece for a single blush, and those are 4.8 grams of powder, which comes out to $6.25 per gram. If you applied the per gram price from the permanent blushes to this palette, it would be around $112 value-wise, per gram value. Whenever I bring up the per gram price, people always say, well, the price per gram doesn't matter because I never use up a whole powder. And, you know, I'm not out here using up entire cheek palettes either, so I see what you're saying. But I do think it's an interesting point to look at, especially if you're somebody like me that likes to mix a lot of different powders together on the cheek. For anybody who is a makeup artist, it's really nice to have the versatility of different shades. As a casual user myself, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a professionally applying makeup to anybody. I still find myself wanting to adapt the shade based on my look, based on how tan I am, based on how much glow I want. So it's nice to have the options, and if you're somebody who needs options for professional reasons or wants them for personal reasons, the price per gram does matter, even if you're not going to completely use up every shade, because you get the options. So hopefully that makes sense. Here's a close-up look at the outer carton. It has this really pretty peachy pink ombre look. I wish that this is what the palette itself looked like. And then on the back you see the inside of the palette pictured here. It has all the ingredients listed. Let's take a look at the actual palette now. I apologize in advance. This is very reflective, so my lights are gonna mess with it a little bit. But before I show you the close-up, I do want to point out this has a locking clasp closure. And I don't know about you, but I always have so much trouble opening NARS palettes. It's usually one of my biggest complaints about their palettes and their compacts in general. And this one is actually so easy to open. I was like inappropriately excited about that fact, so I just had to share it with you. It is a locking clasp closure, it's not magnetic, but it is not horrifyingly difficult to open. And I am not strong at all, so if it's easy for me to do, it'll be easy for anyone. Okay, here's the front of the palette. It is very, very reflective pink metallic surface that just gets fingerprints all over it the second you touch it. That's why I said I wished that the outer carton design, that ombre look, was what was on this palette. I just think it would look cleaner and nicer. There is a very nice, clear, big mirror in here. I want my face palettes to have a mirror. I can kind of give or take on eyeshadow palettes, but I definitely want a face palette to have a mirror. We have all 6 powders laid out here. There are no shade names next to the powders. They are on a sticker on the back. These 4 powders are very, very shimmery, and then these 2 are more of a satin finish. You'll definitely be able to tell when I show you the swatches on my arm. When you look at these in the pan, I think these 2 and these 2 look more alike in the pan than they do in swatch. So I'll definitely be showing you some swatches, that way you can see these side by side applied to the skin, because they do look more different on the skin than they do just in the pans here. And here are the shade names, just in case you wanted to see those. I looked around just a little bit on the NARS website and I didn't see any of these shades listed for sale individually or in other cheek palettes, at least none that are currently for sale on the site, except obviously for the Orgasm blush. So it seems like the other shades in this palette are exclusive to this palette, and this palette is listed as limited edition on the Sephora site. Now I want to show you the swatches of this palette. I apologize if these are not my best effort. I'm right-handed, so I typically use my right hand to swatch onto my left arm, but my left arm is very, very, very stained right now from some things I was swatching yesterday. So I had to adapt and overcome. I also can't really see my viewfinder from the other side. I apologize if these are not my best swatches, if they are not the most focused, pristine, beautiful swatches ever. But I did my best, and I did want you to be able to see swatches of these without the interference of a very, very stained arm. Now that you've seen the palette swatched, let's take a look at a demo. I'm going to use 4 out of the 6 shades in this palette on my face today. So let's take a look at that demo, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. I'm going to use this rosy brown blush called Mandalay as my bronzer, and I just used the tiniest bit. I wanted to use a really light hand because these powders are quite pigmented, and I wanted to just keep control over how much color I was depositing, and I didn't want it to be too deep because then when it's built up more you can tell more of that pinky tone, but just with a little bit applied under the cheekbones and across my forehead, this really worked as a nice little rosy bronzer for me. And anybody who has a very, very light or very, very pale skin tone, I think this will be a great little bronzer for you too. Next, I'm combining ZUMA, that red blush, and Orgasm, and I just used the teeny tiniest bit of ZUMA again. These blushes are quite pigmented, and the 2 darker blushes come off very, very dramatic on my skin, so I just used the teeniest bit and brushed that over my cheeks. And I love the finish that the shimmery blush mixed with the satin blush gives me. I'm going for more subtlety on the cheeks today, mostly just because I have a very, very bold eye look, and I wanted to show the versatility of these powders. They can be worn even more dramatic, but I think that they're showing up pretty well considering that I'm just using the tiniest bit. I'm barely dipping my brush in, and I'm getting great payoff. They're blending and mixing really easily, and I think they just look absolutely fantastic on the skin. I imagine these would probably look very pretty on the eyes as well if you wanted to use this as more of a multi-purpose type of palette. But I love a shimmery cheek. I think this looks glowy and natural, but I think it could also be quite a dramatic statement too if you wanted to layer up these powders and build them up even more. But this is just a beautiful, perfectly casually sweaty cheek, little glowy cheek that I love. I'm sure that there will be just endless criticism for NARS for coming out with another orgasm themed product, and you know, I get it. It's kind of funny at this point. They do it every summer. It has an edgy name and it's a cult favorite. I'm sure that they've seen the success of their orgasm products, and you know, consumers like them. I like them. I'm sure lots of other people do too because they keep making it. So I can kind of see both sides of that. I don't really think it's a big deal. I'm not offended by it. I guess everybody has their things that annoy them, and that's fine. As far as the actual product goes, I really like this cheek palette. I was preparing myself to not really enjoy it, especially because when it comes to a cheek palette, if you only offer one colorway, there's only one version, that can often go wrong because it won't really work for a lot of different skin tones. I think the shades they chose in this palette actually do offer a lot of versatility, especially with the inclusion of these two satiny blushes. You can mix any of these powders together to customize the shade and the finish that's going to work for you. Because these are more of a baked type of powder, these can really easily layer. You can wear them very sheared out like I did with these two deeper shades. I can wear these very sheared out and I think they look nice on my very pale skin. But this formula is also very buildable. You could tell from the swatches on my arm, these shades can be built up to be quite deep, quite bold, and because of the formula and because of the variety of shades they chose in here, I can really see this palette working for just about anybody. When it comes to the dollar value, when it comes to the versatility of the shades, and just the overall super consistent performance of this formula, I think they made some really great choices in curating this palette. I imagine that a lot of people will be able to use and enjoy this, especially if you like a glowy cheek, then you're gonna like this because you can mix these glowy finishes. Personally, I'm a big fan of a glowy cheek, a casually sweaty cheek. If you are not a glowy cheek type of person, you're not gonna like this. But I don't think this is only gonna work for people who have dry skin like myself, because baked powders are a great way to add some shimmer and add some glow, even to combo an oily skin without actually adding a slippery cream or a liquid. I think this is going to be really useful. I like it. I'm going to continue to use it. I can definitely use this deep rosy brown blush as a bronzer, but if you have a deeper skin tone than me, then this will be a beautiful blush. If you are a medium or deeper skin tone and you feel like these shimmery blushes maybe a little bit lighter than what you prefer, then you could mix this shade in with these to add a little bit of depth. You know what? I think this is really fun. I'm gonna enjoy playing with it. I'm often a fan of NARS cheek palettes, and I'm happy to see that they did a thoughtful job in curating the shades in here, especially since they only chose to do one color version. I would love to hear what you think about this palette. Is it on your wish list? Have you tried it yet? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! My air conditioner's on, so if you hear that, sorry if that's irritating. It is over 90 degrees outside, which is kind of concerning because it's only May, so that's not cool. But anyway, it's a million degrees in my house if I don't have my air conditioner on, so sorry if you can hear in the background if it's annoying, but not ready for it to be a sauna in here. Okay, anyway, nobody cares. Nothing like starting off just rambling. Great sign. There's a word that I'm looking for. Ah, wow. It's not going well. Huh? I don't know, it's fine. Huh? When I wear a duochrome eyeshadow, I cannot focus on anything else. I am just endlessly distracted. I don't know if you could tell. If you get closer up, you could see it's like a peach to green. It's just so fun, and I like having fancy eyelids. Does anybody else like having fancy eyelids? Then I have these fancy earrings. These are from by Mel Klein, which you know she's my favorite, and these are just so fun and so extra. And anyway, I'll be done just feeling myself now. I hope you're feeling yourself too. You know why? Because I love your face and you're great, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you're not having a wonderful day, and I understand, and I'll just give you a hug. Come on, come in. I give you a hug every once in a while. Don't fight it. It's a virtual hug, so it's safe. Don't worry. Also, I'm almost fully vaccinated, so yay. Love your face, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.